Hey, and welcome to this Friday Q&A for DaVinci Resolve for the iPad. So in this Friday, I will cover 5 questions. So every Friday in this series, I answer your questions. So if you have any questions about DaVinci Resolve or filmmaking with the iPad, just write me a comment, and next Friday I will answer all of those. So let's start with the first one. Do you use studio lights? So I'm guessing he's talking about my equipment. There's actually a video here on my channel. It's called What's in My Camera Bag 2023. I use those ones here, the newer pack of 2. This is 2 LED panels where you can change the white balance, so it is more warm or more cold, but at the same time you have another option that you can change all kind of RGB colors. And like this one here, you can use your smartphone and change the colors there. So many times how I use it, some of the videos in the past or even in my masterclass, you see that I have a light in the background. Not like now, this is just a light here in the room back in my parents' place, but sometimes I use it just to make the orange light in the background, and I use one of those with a softbox. The reason why I decided to go with them, because with lights you can spend a lot of money. I mean, you can buy aperture softboxes where you spend like 10 times the amount of money just for one softbox, and with those you're pretty versatile. You can travel, okay? If you just want to have one backpack, I wouldn't travel with them. And what I have instead is a smaller light that you can use. I have some smaller lights from Joby, but I also have a smaller LED panel if you want to use it. But then one of the biggest advantages, like now for example, I didn't have the time to not prep everything, so I'm sitting here on a light. It's not perfect because sometimes the sun comes in. This is why I have to change here my ND filter to adjust the lighting conditions, but sometimes you just work with what you have. That's basically what I want to say to you. Hey Daniel, nice video. Question: if my picture or video does not fit the window because it's smaller. So what he's basically talking about is, let's say I have my video here and I bring in a picture to my timeline like this, and in his case it probably looks like this or something. So there's a couple of ways that you can do. And number one, you can always change the transformation when you go into the inspector when you click the clip. So you can always change the values here on the right side. If you want to have those handles, you have to come in here to the settings icon, open that one and click on the first one, and then you have the handles here and you can change the size. And the second way you can do it is there's a preset that all of your images automatically scale to the frame. So you go to your project settings, and then here under image scaling, I have it as a default here, input scale entire image to fit. So with this setting, all of my images will automatically be resized to fit the image. So it's now up to you if you prefer that, or if you prefer one of the other options that you can have here, like scale to full frame crop or center crop. You can play around with those 4 settings, which one is the best for you. Best for me, which is most of the times I want that it's scaled to my frame, and so that's why I have this scale entire image to fit. Next question comes from my girlfriend again. She was basically asking, can I do black and white, just one half of the image black and white, the other one not? So that's also pretty simple. We have our clip here, and what you have to do is now come here to the effects and look for the adjustment clip. You want to drag and drop adjustment clip on here on the top, and now we click on the adjustment clip and we come to the color tab. And so what we have to do now, we have to create now a mask. So for example, I click here on this icon and I create that one here. Now what I'm doing is I go down here to, like, let's say 25% using the pencil now, and I bring those points outside of the image, like roughly like this. And so now everything that I will change here in the color setting will only affect this area. So now if I go in here and I go, for example, to my color wheels and I change the saturation and I bring it down, only the right side now will be with the black and white and the left side not. And this is how it will look in your image. I just searched for this, and the other option that I found was an 11-minute video, straight to the point. He was talking about the video how to make the blurry background. So let's say if you have a vertical video and you want that the rest of the video is just blurry, I have a video here on my channel. But also the reason why I bring this in now to the Q&A Friday is because the most of my videos in the last 180 days, I always approach them with finding out one problem and giving you the solution immediately. So sometimes my videos are just 1 minute. I know, based how YouTube works right now, it's actually hurting the algorithm and the search stuff for my channel. But let's see, maybe one day it will help. But this is the approach also that I do, and I appreciate that someone actually points this out, that he loves this kind of videos as well, because I do them also for myself. I give you an example. Even before I started the DaVinci stuff, I have a couple of videos on my channel where I had some tech problems in the past, like either my audio or whatever, something on my Dell machine or with my iPad, or for example Premiere Pro, how to downgrade a project in Premiere Pro, right? I always forget that, and then I I remember, oh, I made my own video, so I can jump in, and because I made the video so short, I immediately have my answer, and that's kind of cool. Great, thanks a lot. Do you know why it's impossible to render multiple paths with DaVinci Resolve 18.5 for the iPad Pro? So it's not just the M1 that you're talking about, it's the iPad in general. I tested that, it's only making one pass. So what does it mean? What is he talking about? So what is multipass and single pass? With multipass, you render your project twice. And because you render it twice, the program has more power to look into the details, can render more heavier projects and stuff like that, and the results could, in theory, become better. This is something you can do on the desktop and in Mac, but at the moment we still have the option because, I mean, we have DaVinci Resolve completely copied like the original, but it doesn't work like this. But on the other side, I would love to know what kind of projects you're working on right now, because most of the projects that I used, it wouldn't make a difference. The single pass creates almost the same identical quality if you make the settings correct. So I don't really see the point at the moment with DaVinci Resolve, because this is an interesting option if you, let's say, you have a feature movie and you have a lot of stuff in your timeline and a lot of animations and stuff. But the problem right now is that DaVinci, if you work that heavily on the iPad, it's more likely that it's crashed anyway. And then maybe at that point, it's better to even go to the Mac or the desktop and make the multipass render there. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my projects are just too small. Let me know what kind of projects you're working on and why you actually need the multipass. Because the thing is, if you create your rendered file, it takes double the time, and then in the end the file size is the same. It doesn't matter if it's single pass rendered or it's multipass rendered, and the quality most of the time looks the same. So just let me know. So that's it for this week's Friday Q&A for DaVinci Resolve for the iPad. If you have any more questions that you want to get answered, just let me know here in the comments. I wish you an amazing weekend. We see us in the next week, in the next videos, and in the next Q&A video for next Friday. I'm Daniel. Bye.